Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at the Wishdoit Pirate the X Series Black Watch. There is a discount code or a link to a discount for this watch in the description, and I'll put it in the pinned comment as well for $375. That's 20% off the MSRP for this watch. So on the front here we have sapphire crystal. On the rear we have mineral crystal. And this is a curved sapphire crystal. No idea how they manufacture this crystal, but it looks very well done. The case is 316L stainless steel, but it is PVD coated for these different colors here. I've actually banged this watch a few times. It's a little bit larger of a watch than what I'm used to wearing, and I've not seen any damage on this case from that. Always worried about the PVD scratching easily, but it seemed to hold up pretty well on this watch so far. So as you can see, it has the Tonneau case shape. So of course that reminds me of Richard Mille. They have the same case shape. So if you want to experience a watch with the same type of case shape and styling, this is a much more affordable alternative than a Richard Mille or Richard Mille, Richard Mille, however you want to say it. I really don't know. But yeah, it has these cool star-shaped screws here. These are functional screws. And you have 4 on the back as well. So really, these 4 on the bezel here are what hold it together, and then also on the case back. And these 2 here are for retaining the strap. You can buy replacement straps from Wishdoit. I did not get a tool in the kit for this, so perhaps when you buy the straps it comes with the tool for these screw heads here. So it does have an automatic mechanical movement with 80 hours of power reserve, and it ticks at 8 beats per second, which you can see here. There we go, there's the second hand. It's a little bit hard for me to see the hands on this at a quick glance. Just tilt the wrist a little bit and then you can tell the time. And we do have indices, 12 circle dots here, and they are loomed. And also to the interior of those circle dots you can see some star-shaped screw heads as well. So I have enjoyed studying this movement. Let's zoom in here, get a little better look at it. They have a lot of finishing here. They have electroplating, they have polishing, they have frosting. It looks like a total of 30 different techniques have been used on this skeleton dial. You can read that information in the description that I'll leave, or in the link I'll leave in the description. You can see the balance wheel down there. You can see the rotor just moving around back there. If I move my finger out of the way, you can see my finger in the backside there moving around. So you can see through this watch. You can see through the dial, I should say. Let's flip it over, and then you can see when I wind it, you can see some gears moving here. Let's move the rotor a little bit. There we go. This camera has a little bit of trouble focusing. Let's see if I lay it on the table and zoom in some more. Let's see if that helps. Come on, rotor, get out of the way. But you can see the gears in here moving around, which I think is cool. So you can wind it for a long time to get up to 80 hours of power reserve. Of course, just moving your wrist around will power the watch up as well. I do like this mix of black and brass, bronze, gold, whatever you want to call that color. It actually looks kind of like rose gold. It's kind of a pinkish color. And then you have that as well on the X bracing on the inside here, and then the hand side also is the same color. And you can see the hands do have loom applied, so that helps to pick up the hands at certain angles. They kind of just disappear right here, for example. There is no loom applied to that second hand. At the top of the dial you can see the brand name there, Wishdoit. And then the crown is signed. It's a really neat looking crown. It is a large crown. I like looking in there. It kind of reminds me of a turban, or maybe a propeller. It's a cool looking crown. It's nice and large too, so very easy to hand wind this thing. It feels, I don't feel anything bad with the winding either. It feels nice and smooth. Okay, let's zoom back out here. We'll take a look at the case shape again. Again, this is a Tonneau case shape 316L steel, which is PVD coated. You see the top of the bezel is brushed, and then the edges are polished. You can see that through the PVD coating. It has this kind of a sandwich case design. So I've really enjoyed wearing this watch. It's not typically something that I would, buy for myself. Wishdoit did provide this watch for the review, but since wearing it, I have come to like this case shape. And the styling is a little bit, kind of flashy for me. It's not all that traditional, but I have come to enjoy this watch. So this is a push-pull crown. It's not screw down. So there we are in the time setting position, and it does hack. It does hand wind. Let's push it back in. Second hand starts moving again. Oh, another thing that's cool is, I guess I never really paid much attention to it before, but when you pull the crown out, the balance wheel actually, it stops. I guess that's pretty normal, but I guess I never really paid attention to it before. Pull the crown out and it'll stop again. So there we go. So this strap is a fluorine rubber strap with matte stainless steel buckle and tang here. The strap's very comfortable on wrist. I've worn this all day for many days, and it wears a lot more comfortable than I thought it would, since it's a large watch. It was a little bit top heavy, weighs 132 grams, but again, been comfortable on wrist. So it does have a multi-layer skeleton dial, which I showed off earlier. It's a brass dial, and again, it has electroplate, frosting, and polishing, and then a total of 30 different finishing techniques have been used on this dial here. I've not had, I'm trying to think, I don't think I've had another skeleton dial, at least not one that's as decorated as this. And even the rotor is skeletonized as well. Very neat looking. Let's take a look at it next to my SKX, more of a normal sized and normal styled watch. So you can see it looks a lot taller, but it wears very well. I'm not sure how that works exactly, but it works out pretty good. So this is a 42.5 millimeter diameter case, and then lug to lug is about 46. This one here is about 50. It's not really lugs, but 50 from the case here to up there. And then the width of this is 42.3, so they are the same diameter. And also this being all black kind of skews the measurements a little bit too. So another thing I wanted to note about this movement is having 80 hours of power reserve. That's essentially double what you get on most other mechanical watches. These, well, not the 7S26, but the new one with the 4R36, those are good for 42 hours. Like this watch here, this has the 4R36, so that's good for 42 hours of power reserve. And then a Swiss watch with the 2824 movement, those are about 38 hours of power reserve. For the 2824 or the SW200, those are right around 38 hours of power reserve. So you're essentially double the power reserve with this watch here. So I do find that impressive. All right, let's talk about the dimensions again, and then I'll get this on rest. So again, from the top of the case to the bottom of the case, we're at 50.8 millimeters. The so-called diameter, which I measured from, I think, these 2 points right here, 42.3 millimeter. This is a large crown. That is an 11 millimeter crown, and it sticks out a bit too, so, but it looks good. 15.7 millimeter thickness, so this is quite a thick watch. And again, it wears better than I thought it would, so some kind of magic in this case shape here. This watch here is 13.5, 200 meter dive watch. This one's rated to 50 meter. So just get the idea of the thickness here. Doesn't really have a lug width, but I measure the width of the strap up here. So we'll talk about it on this side. Talk about the width. I measure the width of the strap up here. We're at 25.8, and it does taper down to 20, and it stays 20 millimeters till it tapers down at the very end here. And as I mentioned, 11 millimeter crown, and it weighs in 132 grams. So let's get this on wrist, and then we'll check out the Loom. If you have not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. I really appreciate it. Like the video, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of this watch. Also, have you ever seen a Richard Mille in person? I never have. I don't know if I ever will. So there it is on my 6.5 inch wrist with the 52 millimeter wristband. So the case essentially covers my entire wristband. We'll zoom out a little bit here, give you a little bit different perspective. Try not to pick up too much clutter on my desk here. All right, now we'll take a look at the Loom on this watch compared to my SKX. Probably not a fair comparison, but just using this for point of reference. Okay, so the Wishdoit does have some Loom. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. It has, you know, just enough Loom applied to say that there's Loom here, I guess. But here it is compared to my SKX 009. That will conclude this video. As always, thank you for your time, and thank you for watching.